Hi guys, this is Max here, back again with hopefully another great political video, and today we're going to take a little look at the 2024 Democratic Party presidential candidates. And looking at those faces, I mean, where should I begin? I can't think of a single of those persons that would reasonably not only win a Democratic primary, but also become elected the President of the United States of America. I mean, most of these people are awesome and not awesome, they're awful and despicable. Just take a look at Andrew Cuomo, Nancy Pelosi, Tammy Duckworth, Gavin Newsom, Elizabeth Warren. The list goes on and on and on. And Kamala Harris, those people are all terrible candidates. Now, you could say Bernie Sanders is a bit better down here. He'd actually be able to win. Pete Buttigieg is just bah, and I just don't think any one of these is going to make it. But nevertheless, let's move on. Now, the Republicans had much better candidates in there, even the ones that were lesser known. And for some weird reason, we got Andrew Cuomo twice in there. Maybe that's the Cuomo before he fell into disgrace. That's the one after. Anyway, now let's just move along and let's find a good tier for all of these people. Now, into the C tier, I'll simply place every single of those Democrats that have absolutely no name recognition, and I'll place them in the B tier. In the D tier, I'll place all the Democrats that got zero name recognition, that nobody knows about, and that are completely insignificant. This guy's here. That lady goes into D. There are just so many people that nobody gives a shit about if they all of a sudden retired from politics or not, because they're so insignificant. I mean, they are just not important. This is Michelle Obama. Why is Michelle Obama up here? Is it Michelle Obama? Yeah. Anyway, Michelle Obama goes. I think she'd actually win a Democratic primary if she ran, but she's just not going to run, so she goes into F minus. This guy, nobody knows him. Yeah, I think now we got the no names out of the way. What we're left now with our Democrats that are slightly known for good or for better or for worse, and that actually deserve a reasonable ranking. Now, Cory Booker, C guy, C tier. I mean, he does not really fire people up that much, and I do not think that he'd have more of an appeal than any average Democrat would have. But considering how bad this tier list is, I actually might move him up to B, but not because he's good or anything. Nina Turner, man, I don't really see that happening. But she's still more name and recognition than any of these people, so she goes into the C tier. I think this is Jerry Brown, or who's that guy? I don't know. I don't even know. Was it one of those two billionaires that ran? Yeah, I think so. I just forgot his name. There's so many Democratic Party billionaires who try to run for president. Anyway, that's not gonna happen. He's gonna go into the F tier. Man. He was like a big hedge fund manager, but I can't remember his name. Beto O'Rourke, terrible candidate. Couldn't. He's so unpopular by now. If he runs for governor in 2022 in Texas, he'll get crushed. Katie Porter, also a D tier candidate, very progressive, but I don't really think she's gonna win. Andrew Yang. I'm a great fan of Andrew Yang. Personally, I think the Democrats should run him. I'd vote for him for president. He's great. He's awesome. He should have been mayor of New York. But I just don't think that the Democrats are going to nominate him. But simply out of personal bias in favor of him, I'm going to put him up here in the D tier, in the B tier. Simply because I like him so much. I don't think the Democrats like him that much anymore. He's now going with his own thing, the Forward Party. So, yeah, at least he's trying to stick around after he lost. Now, Andrew Cuomo goes into the F tier. Both Cuomos do. I mean, he's like the most shitty governor of all time. I'm so glad he's gone. Now, Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown is actually very good. He might be a bit older, but if he runs, he'll absolutely win. So, he's up there, for sure. Is this Adam Schiff or whatever? I don't know. He's not gonna win though. John Kerry. Oh man, John Kerry is so definitely actually just F tier because he might actually win a Democratic nomination, even though he lost in 2004. That fact that he was closely associated with the Obama years and that he's still around in regards to climate change and stuff like that, he's definitely more likely than Michelle Obama and Andrew Cuomo. Because right down there, we just got candidates that are absolutely no, and those are just no. Now, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is a piece of shit, but actually, he might. I don't know. I mean, he might have better chances than any of these no-name candidates. He might have better chances than any of these down there candidates. And he survived the recall election by a pretty sizable margin, but I just do not think that he's gonna make it. Uh, I mean, California is one thing. It's one thing to win as a Democrat in California. It's a totally different thing to win as a Democrat nationwide. So he's down there. Now, Gretchen Whitmer. Some people on the internet actually started calling her Whitler and associated her with Hitler, which is just disgusting. But that's just the way it is. People like making jokes about politicians, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's gonna become president. I don't even think she's gonna win re-election for sure. She might actually lose that. So putting her up in the B tier would be a bit too much, but in the C tier is okay. Her main issue is just that she has a lot of people who really, really hate her because she was one of those people who enacted COVID restrictions and then just ignored what they themselves were saying and violated their own rules. That's not the type of person who could win. Now, Pete Buttigieg is actually a bit better, and he's in many ways like Cory Booker. Very much career oriented, doesn't really care too much about policy proposals. In fact, he actually did one thing. He went on paternity leave for 3 months, and then when paternity leave, paid family leave was cut out of the Build Back Better plan, he didn't say a word about it. I mean, he really doesn't care, man. Yeah, that woman, I don't know her. She goes down there. Same with that guy. Hillary Clinton, so no. I mean, no, they'd literally rather nominate, I don't know, these people, any of those, or they literally rather nominate my history teacher over Hillary Clinton. The Democrats are just not gonna go with her. Never gonna happen in a quadrillion years. I'm sorry, Hillary, but you ain't gonna be the first female president. Your glass ceiling hasn't shattered. Anyway, now Kate Brown, F tier. Nah, absolutely F tier. I mean, she's so unpopular in Oregon. No way. No, she's not gonna make it. If she ran for re-election, she'd lose, by the way, but she can't due to term limit laws. Kirsten Sinema, yeah, she's just not even a Democrat anymore at this point. By now, she's just a puppet of the corporate elites. I'm sorry, man. Old Lizzie Wu, Elizabeth Warren. Now, previously I pointed out that I just hate her, but she actually might make the C tier simply because she has still people who like her, and sometimes she still has those moments where she's like coming off as a populist fighter and not off as a fake Native American. Now, this guy, he actually does have some name recognition, but he's not really big, so I'll put him down there. I'm pretty sure I saw his face before, though. Kamala Harris is an F tier. I mean, she'd so totally get taken apart. Her presidential campaign in 2020 was basically based on banning Trump from Twitter, so yeah, very bad. Anyway, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter is the absolute Chad S plus tier. If the Democrats ran Jimmy Carter again, he'd win 4 more years. Go elect Carter, man. I love that guy. Now, it's Stacy Abrams. I think she's in one tier with Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, and Andrew Yang. And now, obviously, she's a lot worse than Andrew Yang. She's not as good as Yang, but I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Lots of Democrats really like her, and actually, I'm gonna put her as A tier. Not because I like her a lot, but because the Democrats do. They really love her because she made a big thing out of her losing a governor's election and said votes are being suppressed. And votes are being suppressed all across the country, not necessarily because of racism, but simply because voting is not like getting yourself a candy in a store. And if you do not handle that process well, then you can't vote. And sometimes that process makes it more difficult for people to vote, but I have a hard time believing that it's racially based. But I actually don't even doubt that. I do think that there are some people who are trying to pass race based voter restrictive laws, but they're not doing it successfully. I mean, just tell me, if you're a black person in Alabama, can you go and vote? Can you go and vote at any time? Yes, you can. And there we go. So now, like Stacy Abrams saying she lost the governor's race in Georgia because of voter suppression or whatever is like Donald Trump saying he lost the presidential election because of voter fraud. It's just not true. And that's the reason why I absolutely don't like Stacey Abrams, but the Democrats do, and so she might actually end up getting the nominee. Now, Amy Klobuchar, she's definitely a more popular figure. She's more of a moderate, I guess. But actually, I don't think the Democrats will pull her up there, and she's also more of a career person. So down here, Stacey Abrams, also a total career hawk. But the Democrats, they do really like her here. Like, she might really win. But, yeah, bad. Now, Demi Duckworth gets a lot of hype. There's been a lot of hype around her because she's, like, handicapped and an Asian American and once more Asian American cabinet members or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty race-based, that person. She's a racist. So, just forget about that. And there are lots of racists in both parties. But, like, she said she would not vote for any further cabinet nominees if not a Asian American was to be nominated for some position. Like, that was pretty not good. Uncool. Now, Tammy Baldwin, also C tier. Not a big person. Good senator out of Wisconsin. She always wins by pretty big margins, but I don't think she'd be a formidable presidential candidate. That's not even something that she really wants. Now, Mark Kelly, I'm actually going to move Stacey Abrams downwards, but I'd love to, but again, she's up there because the Democrats love her, not because I love her. Anyway, Mark Kelly would do very, very well. He's a moderate, not as crazy corporate moderate as Kirsten Sinema, but still in the center. He has a reputation of being a former astronaut, and he is from a swing state. So, yeah, Mark Kelly, he's a good guy. I mean, he very well could make not only the U.S. Senate, but also the U.S. White House. Now, there's this guy down here, some actor, not gonna run. Just forget him. Now, Bernie Sanders, that's really too sad that Bernie is by now really too old to run for president. He might actually do at some point, and I think he'd actually win because Bernie Sanders is electable. He just shoots himself in the foot when he calls himself a democratic socialist, which he isn't. He's not a socialist. I mean, he's just mildly. He's not really a socialist. He just wants an expanded welfare state. He's like the labor movement from the Democrat Party in the 1950s on economic issues, that is. On social issues, you could say that he's very, very far left compared to how the Democrats used to be in the past. But Bernie Sanders is like an old school working class labor Democrat. Like something like Franklin Delano Roosevelt or something. But now, of course, last but not least, we got Nancy Pelosi. I hate that bitch. She goes into the F minus. A very corrupt person, does lots of insider tradings. Her list is so infinitively long, I don't even want to get started on it. Now, okay, this is the Democrat Party presidential tier list based on how likely I think that each candidate is going to be nominated. And again, I also included the fact how electable they are, just like I did with the Republicans, because electability is very important for the voters of a party when they choose a candidate. Now, I hope you liked this video. Likes, comments, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. And please feel free to discuss political views down in the comment section down below. As always, guys, have a nice day, and Max out. Good night.